Okay, in our previous class, we talked about introduction to web design, which we discussed about internet, how internet started, how it came about, and how it has been up to today. And we also discussed some other parts of the internet, which is what WW World Wide Web. We discussed that, and we say World Wide Web is a web and it can also be called as a web server. It's a place where all files of a website are being stored. Okay, I will discuss about web page, and we say web page is a file on the web. We talked about hypertext, and we say hypertext document, which is known as HTML. It need to be identified as hypertext document. Then we talked about what is what? A website. And we said the website are collections of related web pages, often identified by a common domain name and hosted on a web server. That is what we said about the website. And then we went further, we talked about the types of website, and we talked about the types as answers and questions, e-commerce, education, community forum, online payments, and all of that. Okay, there are more different types of website that you can come across. And then we talked about a domain name. What is actually a domain name? I would say a domain name is a unique name, a unique name given to your website. Okay, that is what is called a domain name. And we also talked about programming and designing, and which we talked about, which is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP we are going to look into. And we talked about types of web pages. We said is static web page and dynamic web page, right? And then we went further, we talked about who is a developer, a web developer. I would say a web developer is a person who creates and maintains website, ensuring they are functional, user-friendly, and performant. They write codes and design layouts and troubleshoot issues to ensure positive user experience. That is who a developer is. We talked about types of developers, and we have front-end developer, back-end developer, and full-stack developer. Okay, skills required, we also talked about that. We say programming ability is required. As a web developer, you must understand programming languages, pay attention to details. You must have a creative thinking in order to solve problems. Then we went further, and then we talk about what is a web design. I will say web design is the planning creation of website. This includes user friendly navigations, color, layout, font, and images. That is what we talked about. And then we talked about the web development technologies. These are languages that you can use to develop website. There are so many of them here that you can see on the screen here. So many of them. Now, we went further. Okay, that is where we stopped. And I said that today we'll be looking at introduction to HTML. Introduction to HTML. All right. HTML, also known as hypertext markup language. It is a language used to create a web page. Using HTML, you can create a web page with text, graphics, sounds, and video with HTML. HTML is just a foundation of a website. HTML is like a skeleton of a website. If I want to begin a website, then I need a skeleton. As a painter, if I want to paint, what do I need to do? I need to sketch the person first, or I need to sketch the equipment I want to draw.
I want to paint. Then after sketching what next, then I'll begin to paint, isn't it? That is how the HTML is. It's like a skeleton of a website. So for you to get what you want, you need HTML to give you the foundation on how you want them to be. Then the CSS has to come in as the styling, to do the styling, to beautify it, beautify the content, beautify the elements, so that it can look good and look better than the way it is. Are you getting my point? That is what HTML can do in web development. Are you getting my point? Now, if you look at it closely, we have editors of HTML. Editors of HTML. Now, when you talk about editors of HTML, I'm looking at Atom. Atom, they are text editor. Call them text editor as well. They are text editor. We have Notepad++. We have Sublime Text. And then we have Adobe Dreamweaver and then Visual Studio. Now, how many of you are using any of these ones? You use Visual Studio because Visual Studio is a common one now. Everybody wants to use Visual Studio. It's a common one that everybody loves using. Okay, now Notepad++ has existed, okay, but people don't like using it much as Visual Studio. Sublime Text as well. BSc student. BSc student. Sublime Text is a tool, a text editor that we use in writing what? Codes. Okay? We use it to write codes. Then we have Adobe Dreamweaver. Adobe Dreamweaver too is a good tool we can use in what? In writing codes for our website. Then Visual Studio. For me, I love using Adobe Dreamweaver and then sometimes Visual Studio. Okay? Those are the two I love using. But for the sake of this class, I'll be introducing you to Notepad. Why do we use Notepad? We use Notepad because some persons that doesn't have Sublime Text, that doesn't have Notepad++, doesn't have Sublime, that doesn't have Adobe Dreamweaver, that doesn't have Visual Studio, they can always use what we call Notepad. Why? Because Notepad is on every system. I get now. It has been there free of charge. So you don't have to go online that you want to download Notepad. All you need to do is to go by the side of your search button of your screen and then you type Notepad. Then you type Notepad. It's just a minute. Hello?
Okay, I'm so sorry for the interruption. Just that. Uh, so I was talking about Notepad. Now all you need to do is just come to your site, and then you type what Notepad, and then you see Notepad there. Notepad is on every system that you can use to start your basic what, your basic coding. Are you getting my point? So I'm going to be using it so that it can bring out the brightness of the picture or the brightness of the code so that it can be seen very, very well. All right. So that is one of what, another tool for what, for coding. Then that takes us to what we call HTML page. When we talk about HTML page, we are referring to structure of a HTML. You know, everything has a structure. So the HTML as well has what we call structure. So if you are asked, maybe in your defense, come out and give us the structure of a HTML, what are you supposed to do? Then you are supposed to give out the structure of this HTML. Now, what are the structure? Now I will impute the structure. I will enter the structure here so that you see it. All right. So HTML will have what we call head. Then we have title. Then we have the head close, and then we have body, and then we have body close, and then we have the HTML. Now, this is the structure of HTML. Okay. Now there are some persons, they would like to indicate doc type. They want to indicate doc type HTML. Okay. It's still okay if you do that. It's not bad. Maybe for instance, you just come and say doc type. Doc type HTML is still okay. I get my point. It's still okay. Are you with me? So now, if you have this as a structure in HTML, this shows that you want to what, start what, the body of what we call a web page. You know, yesterday we talked about web page. Now, how does this web page looks like? This is it now. This is a web page that I'm creating now. So when you create this web page like this with different informations and details, then you put them together. That's what gives you what we call website. You get my point? If you remember, I made a point that on Monday that I said, if you're writing a script, designing a website, you should know the vision of those people. Know how the history about those people. That is why you see that most website has to do with what? Home, about, services, and contacts, and some menu. There are menu like that you can come across like that. Now that menu now tells users who those people are. I get my point. It tells users who those people are. So now looking at this, now this structure I have here now. This structure I have is the HTML structure. But then I will explain each of these terms. Each of these terms. When you talk about the type doc, it's trying to refer the kind of document you are trying to develop. Remember,
we said that hypertext means that it is hypertext what? Document. If I am developing a web page, then I need to use what we call hypertext language, which is what? HTML. That's the essence of that doc type. And that is the essence of what you see HTML introduce the language you are about to use. So with this, it will the engine will automatically see that this language you are trying to use is called HTML, and we build from there. Then the head we see there identify the headings that will be involved in time comes that you be, the most you are writing code, you'll be coming across, maybe you'll be involving headings. I get my point now. You'll be involving headings. So it builds that confidence that you can also do involve heading. Then you talk about the title, identify the title of the web page. The title of the web page. Now, if you look at this place now, at the top here now, you will see that this document is what? Untitled. It's untitled. Why? Because I have not given it a title yet. Are you getting my point? Then I will come back to that title. Then if you look at the body signifies the body of the code. Meaning that every other code I am going to write, I am going to be writing it inside this body. I cannot jump outside the body. I cannot come down below here. I cannot come below here and come at the writing code. It's wrong. I get my point now. It's wrong. Even if the code might even try to display for you on the screen, it's wrong. I get now. The right thing to do is that you write your code inside the body of what? The structure. Everything happens inside here. I get now. Hope you understand my point. Now, on coming back, I want to start something like this. I will teach you how to save this thing, then I will explain what these things mean. Now, there are patterns or there are ways we save these documents. We don't save this document as what? Microsoft documents. We don't save it as a doc document. We save it as what? A hypertext document. So that we can get our output. So I'm going to show you two different ways we are going to see the difference on how these things appear. Are you get my point now? So for me to save this, after entering this structure, I am going to enter file here. On the file here, I will come to save as. So if I open this in save as, that means I'm going to type the name and let the name be son. If I put son, I will have to include the doc type. Look at this place, the doc type. But here doesn't have other formats because it's notepad. If it is other tools now, you will see the doc types, all of them there. If it's the JavaScript, CSS I want to write, you see the doc type. Because notepad does not have that ability, all you need to do here now to identify the doc type is to put dots and then indicate HTML. Did you understand me? Is to put what? Dots and then indicate what? HTML. And then when you do that, you now what? Save. If you now go back to, let me check. You see it? You see there? It's appearing as what? A browser, like a browser. That is what we call a web page. I get my point now. I have built up a web page already now. Now I have saved it. Now I am ready to build up the code now to get what I want. Now another way of saving this that is wrong is this. I can come here now. I can just click here and click save as. If I click save as, and then I will type the word let me type the word as come. I'll type the word come and then I'll go click on save. If I click on save, then I come to this part here. You see they come here. What's the difference between this and then this? Go. You can see that this one is in text format. So if you look at here, you see that you see the type doc what text what document. But if you look at this place, you see the format, which is what Edge HTML. The difference is because I added what dot HTML, and the other part I did not add dot HTML. So if I open this one now, this one will come up as a browser. This one will load very well. Why this one will open as a text? Let's watch and see what happens. You see that one? That is the com. It has opened as a text. Why you see the sun has opened as what? As what? A web page. You get the point now? Good. So on going back, I will go back. If I close this thing, let's assume that after I have finished coding, I close this thing. And I want to go and open back my code because I've closed all the words. I've closed all the notepad, the code I already inputted in the structure. So I need to get it back. I have to go back to my folder where I saved this document. On my folder where I saved this document as sun, this is it. Then I will right click on it. On right clicking on it, it's still loading. Good. On right clicking on it, I will go to open with. On this open with, you will see different tools. You see Adobe Dreamweaver there. Because I don't want to use Adobe Dreamweaver now. I don't want to use Visual Studio now. So I'm using what Notepad to teach. So I'll come to Notepad here and click on Notepad, and that code will come back. I get my point now. And now the rule states that whatever thing you do, you save first before you go and refresh this one. Now this serves now as the output. Before you come and refresh what? This one, the sun. You refresh, you edit your code. After editing your code, what next? You save. Not you save it, like not go and be saving fresh. Just Control S. You save and then go back and what? Refresh what? Your web page, which is what? This is the page, the place where you can what? Refresh. Let's say for instance now, I come in here, I type in, I said, welcome to Intercontinental College of Technology. The Continental College of Technology. I have this. After typing this, all I need to do is to press my Control S and then come back here. Did you see that? Welcome to what? Intercontinental College of what? Technology. Now let's see. I will do another one and I will not save it. You will see whether it will appear. Where destinies are shaped. Then now I want to save it. Then I'll put kilometer 2 Otukpo Road. Now I did not save that one now. You see this one, I save it, that's why it's appeared. Because I did not save this one, I did not press Ctrl S. Did you see it appearing? No. That's the rule. You must save. Whatever corrections you do, you must do what? Save. Then come to your browser and do what? Refresh at this point. Are you getting my point now? Good. Now, after doing that, then you are good to go. Now, at this point, I want to explain what we call this thing, what this structure is all about. Or I want to talk about tag. I want to talk about what? Tag. Now, what are tag? Tag are like identifiers that reads lines of code, that reads HTML lines of code, that reads HTML elements. There are three things. That's number one, tag. Number two, attributes. Now, in this tag, we are talking about there are two types of tags. There are two types of what? Tags. Now, what are the two types of tag? Number one is open tag and number two is closing tag. Now, all of these things you see here, they are identified as what? Tag. These are what? Tag. Okay? All of these are tags. Tags in what? HTML structure. So if your tag is not correct, the code will not work. You get my point? So your tag must be correct for your code to work. So these two types of tag we are talking about, all of them are here. So we have the opening tag and then we have the closing tag. Which one is the opening tag? The opening tag is the one that has no slash. Are you seeing it? There is no slash. It just has just head, HTML, title, body. Is there any code there apart from the type doc type that has no slash? Is there any tag there that has no slash? Meaning that every tag you open must have a closing tag. What does it? Every tag you open must have what? A closing tag, and it is necessary that you close what? The tag. You don't leave tag. You just open tag and then you leave it like that. In some cases it might work for you, but it's wrong. In some cases it might not even work at all. So me as a developer, if I'm going through your code now, we see that that place you did not close that tag, I will mark it wrong. I get my point. I'll mark it wrong. So it is nice and good that what? You open your tag and you close the tag. We have a horizontal tag has no closing tag. A break tag has no closing tag. But when we get there, you will know them. The major tags in HTML must have an open and closing. And that is why you have the HTML here and it closes below here. You have the head here and it closes here. You have the title here and it closes here. You have the body here and it closes here. I get my point now. So meaning that if I have this title, let's do one practical now. Now I have this title, let me put the title now. In between the tab, that is where your element has to come in. I get now. In between the tab. Now, if I have here now, what should be the title of this page? Let's say tutorial class. Let's play like this. Now, look at this place point. There is very some.html. That is the way I save it. That is the way I what? I save it. You can see it's very some.html. But now, if I put this title now and I save now, that some.html will no longer be there. What did you say? Tutorial class. That is why every website you must see the title once you open it. Once you open the website, you see the title at the top. Because this title is always there for you to title the page. Are you getting my point? Are we going? Are we following? Good. Now let's see. Instead of me, I have opening tag here. I place it, for instance, I forgot to add slash here, and I went and saved. I now come to my code to run. What did you see there? Are you seeing other tags in front of it? Meaning that code, there's an error there. A closing tag of title is not what? Close. So you have to go back and what? Put your slash and then resave. Then that error, come to your refresh, that error should go away. I have my point now. So these things are there for you to know, understand. They are there for you to know. You just need to understand the steps how to deal with it. I get my point. And now let me come again. There are rules concerning tag. One thing with tag is that the first rule, the first tag you open will be the what? Last tag to be closed. The second tag or the last tag opened will be the first tag to be closed. Do you understand what I mean? The first tag you open will be the last tag to be closed, while the last tag you open will be the first to be closed. What do I mean? Is it possible for you to enter like 3 to 4 tags at the same time on the same line? The question is yes, it's possible. And when you are entering 3 tags on the same line, ensure that those tags will be closed accordingly. That's why I said the first tag open will be the last to be closed. The last tag open will be the first to be what? Closed. Let's understand that. Let's say, for instance, I open this, and I open this, and I open this. And I now come and say ICTM. And I have. So, looking at this now, let me ask, which one will I close first? Which one? The B. If you say B, I will close first. Let me. What is your hand? Don't close your hand because you are follow. It might be wrong. So think well. If you say B, raise up your hand. I have 1, 2, 3. Are you raising up your hand? If you say I, let me see your hand. If you say P, let me see your hand. P will close first. Okay. You know, these are problems with the issue with tags. If I don't explain it, people will not understand. Now, this is what you need to do first. The first tag open will be the last to be closed. The last tag open, this is what? The last tag that was open, isn't it? Will be the first to be closed. So meaning that this one will have to come what? First. Followed by what? I. Followed by what? P. So P will always be the last tag to be closed. Then I will save. I will now come here and then I will run. Are we good? Right. Now, time to explain those tags now. What it stands for. Now, there are so many tags in HTML. We'll be looking at them one after the other. So if we cannot exhaust all today, then as we go on and on, we see them as we come across
them. Okay. So firstly, we have a head tag. The head tags identify headings and they are in sizes. They are in sizes. So the biggest one is always the head one. The biggest one, always the head one. So in that case, I will now come here and use what we call page one. Page one means what? Head one. And it's the biggest size. So if I do that, I will now put enter, continental, a continental body of technology. Marker. And I'll do what? Close what? The head one. Then I'll run. I'll come back and what? Refresh. Did you see that? So if I want my software or my website title name or the company name to show very bold, I will do that. I get my point now. If you navigate to say, let's say DSU, now you see this. I want to go back to home. It's still coming this side too. The network is bad. So now if you look at your portal, I mean the website itself, you will see that they wrote Reverend Father Moses Adasude, right? At the top. But what? With a very good font bending. There's a font on it. I get my point now. Now, if you want your website name to be shown in such a manner, it's what? Your choice. And if you want it to be showing just like this, it's still what? Your choice. Are you getting my point? It's still what? Your choice. So the next thing is that if I don't want the name to be too big like this, all I need to do, I will just have to what? Recopy this and change the size. Maybe I will use the lower size, and the lower size of it is what? 2. And here is what? 2. And then I will save. I will come back and then what? And then I will refresh. You can see that this size is bigger than this one. Now, if I don't want to use this same size again, I want to use a lower size of that one, I will still come down below and then change this what? To 3. Here to 3. And then refresh. You see the size, right? The size is gradually coming down. Then we can do this to 6. To 6. This can be 4. This is 4. This is 4. This is 5. This is 5. And then this is what? 6, which is the last. 6. And then come back and then run it. Hello? It is left for you now to pick the head you want. Whether it's small, whether it's 4, whether it's 5 that you want. You can pick it and then what, give it a good font size and a good font style. And either you align it to the left, very small to the right, or to the left or to the center. You get what you want. Everybody has what? A taste. I get my point? So you do that to your taste. So this we call them what? Heads. From head 1 down to what? Head 6. Give you what? Your headings. Okay? Good. Now again, there are other tags I need to explore. Let's say for instance, this is a P tag. P tag. This P tag, we see it as what? This is a paragraph. A paragraph tag. The P tag is known as what? A paragraph tag. It has no bold. It just comes as what? A normal text. You get my point now? So if I'm using a paragraph tag, that means anytime you are going to write another new paragraph, you have that sense of creating a little space of margin from where you stop and from where you will start from. I get my point now. So that the P tag always what? Do that. It creates a next space line. It goes to the next line and continue from there. So even if I write another P tag now, it will not continue from that same line. It will move to the next line and continue as a paragraph. The same thing is applicable to head. So there are tags that doesn't what? Goes to the what? Next line. There are tags that moves automatically to the next line because they are known as what? A paragraph tags. Like the head. Did you see them? All of them move to what? To the next line because they are headings. I get my point now. Then let's look at another tag. Let's see what I'm talking about. Then we have a B tag. This is a bold tag. I put this. I close. I come here and then I refresh. You see B tag coming down. It's coming down because this I've already written what? A P tag. And if you check very well, the space between the two of them and this one are not the same. Are you seeing that? Because they are not tags that begins from the next line. Okay, let me add another tag now. You see that it will continue from both tags. Let's say I put I tag. This tag is used to italicize a text. So I continue from where both tags stop. Because these two tags are not tags that begins from the next line. So all I need to do now is to introduce what we call a break tag. So introduce what? A break tag. That break tag is the one of the tag that has no closing tag. I get my point. So I will introduce a break tag. Where should I put the break tag? Somebody tell me. After the closing of the bold tag, I'll put here BR break. So that it will separate the two lines. One will go down. And even if it's going to separate, it's not still going to come out as what? A paragraph line. You can see the closing line, but it's too close. But assuming it is paragraph tag now, the paragraph tag is going to give a good space for you to begin with. You get my point? Good. Then another tag is this to explore. You can explore another tag. Let me say, instead of using a bold tag, a B tag, you can as well use what we call strong. this is used to bold a text. Then you come close what? Your string. And now if you do this, you save. You can see, because they are not also tags that begins from where? The next line. So all I need to do is what? Break this again. I put BR here and break it. Are you understanding it? Are we following? Good. Now, looking at this, another tag is what we call superscript. Call it what? Superscript. Because it's not a tag that begins from the next line, I'm going to introduce my break here. So that I want it to come another line. Come to know what we call superscript. Like x raised to the power of 2. You get x raised to the power of 2, or anything raised to the power of 2. You get my point? Then you can use a tag called superscript. So we call that tag sup. Now for me to achieve that now, I can just decide to put what? X behind the what? The opening tag, and then come here and indicate 2 inside the opening tag, and then close the sup. X behind what? The opening tag, and then 2 inside the opening tag and the closing tag, and then close the tag. Then you come here, you have this x raised to the power of what? 2. X raised to the power of 2. But if I want the x to come as a paragraph, that is why I will just say, let me put here as a p tag. Let me use it as a p tag, and then use x here, and then come and put sup here, close this, and then put 2 here, and then put sup here, and then close. So this is going to come as a paragraph line now. See the space. But I did not close what? The p tag, which is wrong. So I need to go back and close the what? The p tag. That is why I told you that in some cases it might show, but if they are vetting through your code and that tag is not closed, they will mark it as wrong. So you have to ensure all your tags are closed properly. You get the point? So that is that. Then we have another one called subscript. Subscript, that is the 2 will come below the x. You get the point? The 2 will come below the x. So I will put these 2 in p tag, which is paragraph tag. Then I'll put my x, then I'll put sub, then I'll put the 2, and then I'll close the sub, and then I will close what? The p tag, and then I will save. You see that? Are you guys seeing it? Good. Any question? We are going to be taking it gradual in such a way that I don't want you to forget some lines, because as you are going further, that is how the team will be giving us headache. You know, one time a lecturer want to teach you, first of all, teach you the sweet part. I say, it's not hard though. You understand? But with time, you discover that this thing hard though. I don't know that it's like this. But I believe that with time, you are going to understand. As you are taking it gradual, so that you will understand it and you will follow it. You get the point? All right. So I'm going to stop here for today, and then we'll continue on Friday. Meet on Friday again, then we'll continue. So I'm going to leave you. We are going to write the code. Those of you that with laptop, put it on your laptop, and then put it on. If you are with your phone, download. I told you to download HTML text tool on your Play Store. Do that now. Do that. When we meet on Friday, we'll proceed with other things. All right.